Before we jump into using GitHub and saving our files on there, let's quickly talk about what Git is. So you have Git and you have GitHub. So Git is version control. So let's say that you and a friend are working on a project together. All right, you're working on the same exact project. You're both editing the index page, and you've both made changes now, and you want to combine those changes. Normally, you couldn't possibly do that. You'd have to meet up with them and then go line by line and try to mix it all together. What Git does is it actually recognizes the changes that have been made on every single line. It will naturally combine them together. It'll just automatically do that for you. And then let's say you actually make a change on the same exact image. So let's say like you had like an image tag in there, for example, and you each added a completely different image. Well, which one would it choose? It would actually say, hey, wait a second, you're trying to both make this change. You need to decide which one you want to choose. So basically what Git does is it allows you to work as a team on the same exact project, on the same exact pages, and work at the same time. So that's the power of version control. It's definitely essential for you to learn how to do this. A lot of companies use Git or they use some form of version control so that multiple developers can work on the same project at the same exact time. So before we get started in GitHub, we actually need to download Git. So from Google, we'll just type in download Git, and we'll click on this first link right here. Choose your operating system, Mac, Windows, Linux. Just click into it, click here to download if it didn't start downloading automatically. I already have it downloaded, so I don't need to go ahead and download this. Once you have it downloaded, open it up, run through the setup, and then once that's finished, you need to check to make sure that Git is downloaded and you're able to use it. So what you need to do is actually go into your terminal. Now for Windows, this gets a little bit more tricky. So for Windows, you actually have the Windows command line. So you want to open that up. You're going to have one that comes with your computer automatically. You're going to want to use the one that you download from Git. So you can use the same exact commands that we're going to use, plus it just integrates automatically with GitHub. So after you have that downloaded, let's test out to see if it's working. So if you have a Mac, I want you to press Command Spacebar, open up your search, and type in terminal. If you're using a PC, go to your search bar and search for Git Bash. Now, Windows actually has a couple of these because it comes with the command prompt, but you actually want to use the Git Bash, which is what you just downloaded and is going to interact with GitHub directly, so choose that one. So we're going to open this up. Now what this is basically our computer without a GUI or graphical user interface. So before Microsoft created the user interface and Apple went ahead and created the user interface, we had this, which basically was DOS or the command line. So you actually have access to your entire computer, right? So here I actually have my username XIA. And you can even see the home symbol too at the top. So I'll show you that really quickly. If I just type in users, go into users right here, there it is, that same home symbol with XIA. Now the terminal has a command which is ls. So when you press ls, you're actually saying, hey, list out all of the files and folders that are inside of this. Press enter. We have applications, downloads, music, public, hello, all this stuff. I'm going to click into this. Applications, downloads, desktop, all of them are here. They match up exactly. So you have access to your computer just without a graphical user interface. So it's a little bit harder to navigate around it at first, but once you get good at it, it actually becomes a little bit faster to do things in. So the next step in getting your projects on GitHub is to go to github.com. So I'm already here, I've logged in. Let me go to my profile really quickly. All right, so and I can view all of my repositories, all my contributions, all that stuff. So GitHub is basically a social media site for developers. You come here, you add your projects here, you can go check out your friends' projects, you can go check out random people's projects, you can make changes and suggest changes for them, and they can do the same for you. So it's a great place just to go and work on projects, and it's a great place to go and save your projects. Because let's just say your computer shuts down, you could actually have every single one of your projects on here, and you should, because if for some reason you lose everything, then you will have it all backed up right here on GitHub. So once you log in, go ahead and the first step is to create a new repository. So we'll choose new repo. And I will just write first repo. Do not do special characters or uppercase. Just do all one word lowercase. Keep it as public. Do not initialize with a README. Do not change any of this. And we will create the repository. All right, there we go. So we're going to start from here. So I'm actually in my repo right now. I just can't view any files because I have not pushed any files there yet. So the next step is to look at their step-by-step guide. So we actually have that right here. And just to show you how to quickly get to this guide, you can just type in create new repo from command line GitHub. And it's the first one that pops up. Remember, the command line is the terminal. So we're here already. Let's scroll down and look at the instructions. One quick thing I want to point out in the instructions that doesn't make a whole lot of sense is it goes step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 1, step 1, step 2, step 3. I don't know why they do it like that. This is all part of the same exact process. It really should just go all the way down to 9 instead of just switching it up. That's all right, so just keep that in mind. This is all one process. So the first step is create a new repository on GitHub. Well, we already did that, right? We clicked this plus button, we chose new repository. We already created it, named it. Step 2, open the terminal for Mac and Linux users or the command prompt for Windows users. Now the third step is what stumps everybody most of the time, is change the current working directory to your local project. So how would you go about doing this? You open up your terminal. What they mean is right now I'm in my XIA users folder. What I need to do is I need to actually get to the folder that I want to push there. So in XIA, we have access to all of these folders, meaning we can travel to any of these folders. And we do it like this. We write CD. CD represents change directory. So a directory is just another name for folder. So when you hear directory, they're just talking about folders on your computer. So I can do CD desktop. I don't have to worry that this is uppercase and I'm writing lowercase. It's totally fine. I press enter and now it says desktop space XIA. So it's saying, look, you're on XIA's desktop right now. And I can prove that by typing ls, which stands for list. And it gives me a list of everything that I have on my desktop. There's a command that I wrote. This is everything that I have on my desktop right now. All right, and the file that I want to load up there is Revo2. So I need to navigate there. I need to change the current working directory to the project that I want to push to GitHub. All right, and make sure that you're pushing a folder. Don't go in and push a file. Go in and make sure you're pushing your entire folder up. And do not try to push up your entire desktop. That is definitely not how you want to do it. You want to do it project by project. So you want to push up each individual project by its folder. So now we are in the current working directory. The next line is initialize the local directory as a Git repository. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So all we need to do is type in git init. Init meaning initialize. Press enter, give it a second. All right. Reinitialize existing Git repository. All right, all good to go. The next step is add the files to your new local repository. This stages them for the first commit. So we do git add period. Now the period means everything. I could go and do git add index.html if I wanted to, but really Git pushes it so quickly that you could easily just write period every single time. You don't have to worry about it unless your project is tens of thousands of files. Then you might have to worry about it. For now, we're just going to use period, press enter. Now, after you do this, and this is not included here in this step-by-step guide, we have another command that we can use, which is Git Status. So we can make sure that we're actually on the right track. So when I do Git Status, I want to see the files that I'm pushing, which should be highlighted in green. So I can do Git Status, enter, and it says nothing to commit. So let me check and make sure that I in fact have files in there. I do. All right, so I actually just made an error. What I was trying to do was I had already committed that previous document to another repository. And so what happens with Git is it actually connects directly to the file on your computer. So you can't commit the same file to two different repositories. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use the Google file instead that I have here and start again with that. So I need to navigate to that. So as you can see, I'm on the desktop. When I type in ls, the Google file is there. So I can do cd or change directory Google. Perfect. So now I'm in that Google file and I can start again with git init. Then I can do git add period. Now this time when I do git status, excellent. Okay, so here are all the new files that can be added. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. And the next command is git commit -m. And then inside of quotes, these could be single or double. Just write first commit. Now, you can write whatever you want here. You want to be really specific though. So if you change an image, write down, hey, I changed the image on that particular file, or I edited this CSS style sheet in this one particular area. So you can write whatever you want here. It's almost like a comment outside of your code, but it's a comment in the version that you are currently editing. So that way you or anybody else that goes in there can see when you made those changes, and they can actually go back and look at old changes before you made them. So let's go ahead and do this. All right, perfect. Now this next step says at the top of your GitHub repository, quick setup page, click to copy the remote repository URL. So let's go back to our repo. So right here, blow that up a little bit. And I'm just going to click here to copy it. Pull up my terminal again. Go back to that page, then pull up the terminal. And then it says here to add git remote add origin, then the remote repository URL. So git remote add origin command V. Now, if you have a PC, Control V will not work for this, unfortunately. You're going to have to type it all out. So I'll just press enter. And then kind of hiding in this one, there's actually another command, git remote -v. So let's go ahead and do git remote -v. All right. And the last one is git push origin master. Press enter for that one. And that's when we'll start seeing these percentages, compressing the objects. Perfect. That's how we know that it's worked. I can go back to my page here. All I have to do is refresh. And there you have it. So I have all of these saved in. I have my first commit. Click in here. That is the first commit that I made. I can go in and actually look at all of the code. Here's my CSS, my favicon images, my other images, my index page. I can leave a comment if I want. I can go back. I have it all in here too, so I can just click in this and see my code. I can actually edit it in here too. Don't really want to do that, but you can. I can see that I'm the only contributor on this. We won't get into branches right now. That's a good way, though, to share code with other people. And let's go ahead and actually see what happens if we make a change to the code. So I'm going to come back here, grab my Google project, drag it into Sublime Text, and open up the index page. Now I'm just going to change something, so let's just do, let's just change this. I'm just going to do Google homepage replica. So that's all I've changed, but it will recognize that I've made that change. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close it. Then I'm going to go back to the terminal and I'm just going to write git add period. Git status. Let's make sure it's getting something perfect so it knows that I updated the index.html page. I'll do git commit -m. And I'll say change the title of the index page. Then I'll do git push origin master. All right, now when I go back to my repo and I refresh, the number of commits is now 2. And it even says, okay, when did I update it? Well, 3 minutes ago for the original one, but 12 seconds ago for the index page. So I can click on my second commit and I can go in and see the code. Furthermore, I can go into my original code and see that as well. So let's say you make a change and you accidentally made a mistake. Well, now you can actually go back and grab the code and undo that mistake that you made, so long as you committed it prior to actually making that change. So that's how easy it is to set up GitHub. I would recommend going on there, adding some repos. Make sure you go in and edit existing repositories. Just get some practice in, because if you don't do it a few times in a row or several times a week for a little bit, you're going to forget automatically. And make sure that you bookmark this page somewhere. You want to save it somewhere so you can constantly go back and reference it.